All right, thank you for joining us today as we continue to provide daily information and updates on the status of the plane crash site, as well as services that we are providing. This continues to be an ongoing investigation, and the scene remains active. I'm Managing Director Adam Teal, and I'm joined here by a number of colleagues from city government. This is truly going to be a briefing and an update, so we are not going to recapitulate everything that has happened over the past several days. The biggest news right now is the NTSB has finished their work on site and either has left or they'll be leaving Philadelphia shortly. I have to say, just an incredible amount of teamwork with NTSB. You've heard us saying days to weeks for this investigation. That is still true, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The fact that we've been able to complete this on-site work, given the scale and scope of the scene, is a real testament to both the NTSB's professionalism and their expertise, as well as the partnerships with other federal agencies and all of the folks you see here. It really has been one team working together to process this crash site and help the NTSB get to the next phase of what will continue to be a long, thorough, and comprehensive investigation. For more information about the NTSB's investigation, we would offer folks to check out their website at ntsb.gov. They also have a number of social media accounts, and that really is the best way to understand what the NTSB is doing, beyond the fact that their work here in Philadelphia, just their work in Philadelphia, has concluded. Also ongoing is our forensics investigation, led by the Philadelphia Police Department with assistance from our medical examiner's office and a number of other partners. That work continues. That very difficult and laborious and important work continues. That is also, though, being moved off-site, so we can start to restore the area of this tragic incident back to activity. I won't say normalcy, because that is going to take much longer, but certainly allowing regular activities to take place throughout that area. So that's really a big deal that we've been able to move that forensic investigation off-site and that NTSB is done here on the scene. So now we are at the point, really we've been doing some of this as we've gone along, as we've had areas across this very large scene made ready for cleaning. Now we will have crews from a number of city agencies continuing to work overnight, from our streets department, our clean and green team, CLIP, a number of others, PennDOT, streets, on and on and on. We'll be working literally through the night to clean the streets, to ensure that we have done thorough damage assessment on all of the infrastructure, and all of that infrastructure is currently operating. You've heard us say that before. So we really want to make sure that we're going to be able to, as daylight comes, hopefully start to get everybody back into that area. We don't necessarily anticipate that with first light we'll have all the businesses open. Hopefully that will happen at some time tomorrow, although that is still going to be a very dynamic process. We know that we still have residences and properties that have been damaged that folks are not going to be able to go back to. And hopefully most of the residences that are undamaged or that have been cleared for reoccupancy will be able to be reoccupied soon. Still want to say this is a controlled area, so if you are not a resident or a business or with a resident or working for a business, we really just want you to stay away from this area. We are going to continue to work around the clock, and by I say we, I really mean these folks and their teams that are down there on the ground are going to work around the clock to get everything restored. We're not quite there yet. We're getting closer and closer, much faster than we ever thought possible, thanks to the incredible teamwork across all of our interagency and intergovernmental, and frankly, our private sector and not-for-profit partnerships. Our L&I Emergency Services team, with assistance from the Fire Department, our Urban Search and Rescue Task Force, PPD's Community Outreach teams, our Department of Commerce teams, everybody has been in that area, continuing to go through the area checking the structural integrity of all the properties, businesses, residences, et cetera, and they are continuing to secure and seal properties that are damaged. So that work also continues. We are working hard and going to continue to work hard so we can get things restored, and that will be very soon. I'm going to ask Director Morales, OEM Director Morales, to talk about the shelter status, the status of our shelter at Fells High School. And most importantly, I want to make sure that everybody knows about our community town hall that will take place Wednesday, tomorrow, February 5th at 7 p.m. at Solscone Elementary School. That's 7001 Horrocks Street in Philadelphia. There, the Parker administration will provide more information about the crash to residents, along with links to services and outreach tables for what folks might need in that area as we try to bring it back. And I know we will bring it back because we know this is a strong and resilient city. We know that our Northeast is strong and resilient as well. This is still going to be a long process. Director Morales, a brief note about the shelter status.
Thank you, Managing Director. Just one brief update and then one reminder. Working with our partners at the American Red Cross and the School District of Philadelphia and the Salvation Army, we're glad to announce that the 2 households that were being served at the Samuel Fells High School are being serviced another way, which allows us to close the shelter as of 6 p.m. tonight. And so services remain for anybody who has been impacted by this. They can contact 1-800-RED Cross. But we will not physically be at Samuel Fells High School as of 6 p.m. tonight, which is a good thing. It means we are entering kind of a more medium to long-term phase and able to really meet individuals' needs. The reminder is as updates about resources change, you heard a lot of, we have a lot of optimism about what could be back tomorrow. We encourage everyone to sign up for Recover PHL, the city's text message service. You can text RECOVER PHL to 888-777. We're pushing text messages to all of those subscribers daily and pointing them back to the city's blog, which is being kept live as well. Thank you.
And with that, again, a reminder about the community town hall tomorrow. We will take a few questions and hopefully not ones that we've answered several times in the past.
I know you're working really hard to get everyone back into their homes. Any idea how many people were displaced?
Well, we do have an idea how many people were displaced.
Yeah, certainly. So there have been about 4 separate damage assessment efforts intentionally for very different reasons. And what that means is 4 separate concerted efforts of teams, not individual teams, to walk every block and to look at every individual property involved. The number of properties that were looked at as a part of kind of that zone was 366. And now, what is a household? That's a question that I won't say is impossible to define, but isn't quite a number that we can articulate. But as far as individual properties that have been a part of this zone for this entire time, about 366 is our universe.
Is that residences
It's a mix.
and businesses both?
Correct.
The FOP says some officers were reporting trouble breathing and issues with their eyes who responded to the scene. Can you discuss that? Is that something the city will help out with?
Sean, certainly that, when I responded to the scene on Friday night, it was still a very unstable scene. There was still active fire, multiple active fires. We know there was jet fuel involved. So anybody at that scene who was not wearing protective breathing apparatus could have had that experience. So unfortunately, those are exposures that our first responders experience frequently, and we have a lot of mechanisms in place through our various health plans and other things to ensure that they are taken care of when they have those. So certainly I think our police officers are aware of the processes that they need to follow to make sure that that gets reported and into the workflow so they can be taken care of. And I promise you want to say something about that?
I think you hit it, and that's what we're doing now. So
I promise you that our commissioners here take the health and safety of their sisters and brothers very seriously.
Also, could you talk about the missing person process after an event like this, and are there any people you're still trying to figure out if they were at the scene and they're accounted?
Sean, I feel like that's one of the questions that we've answered a number of times. Yeah, why don't you talk about her then?
Maybe just an update on.
They would- I mean, we started, Commissioner Benor have been tracking all the missing persons. There was one young lady that was reported to possibly be on site. We have eliminated that. We have identified and located her. She was not on the scene that evening. Absent that, we have no other additional cases that we're looking at this time where someone's missing and may be associated with being on Cottman Avenue the night of the incident.
You said inside that response zone, obviously you got all those businesses. Did I hear you say that you're expecting hopefully tomorrow that a lot of those businesses over at Roosevelt Mall that you've been escorting the workers back to there to get their belongings and stuff, you think that'll be open tomorrow at some point?
Well, one more thing I want to say about Sean's question. We still will not have a definitive answer about the number of victims or casualties until we are done with the entire forensic investigation and process all of the samples that were collected from the site. So that is that's a known unknown. I think with what Commissioner Bethel just said, that finishes up with all the knowns. And so we still have a lot of work left to do for our forensics folks who are the best in the business. As far as restoring commerce and getting the neighborhood back in action, we are optimistic that that will happen at some point in the next couple of days. Maybe tomorrow, maybe as soon as tomorrow, if we don't find more damage overnight, provided everything continues to work as expected.
Yesterday, the number of people injured was
That's fine, Sharon.
24, 2 in critical condition. Are they still in critical condition?
Yes, that is our understanding.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
The next time there will be a Paso Vale is